sometimes to get 3 or 4 speakers, and now they're rising up from the boondocks, and they're coming up and they're ready to give a speech. And Pamela B, she's going to be doing that. She's going to be delivering a speech evaluated by Sandra. Again, timer, I think 5 to 7 minutes. So try to guide yourself with 5 to 7 minutes.
I know it.
And the title of her speech is Lobsters. I Dream of Lobsters.
Okay, so I have some prerequisites, okay? This is only like my 4th speech ever, right? Okay, so I'm making it up off the cuff, so there will be no counting. Joe, are you the counting? No, I'm not. Oh, you are. So no, anyway. And forgive me, Governor. Okay. Breathe. Okay, so I'm going to give y'all an informational speech tonight, and I'm going to teach you how to lobster. It is something that I have been doing for 35 years. Every August, we go down to the Keys, down to Big Pine. We stay on Doctor's Arm, we rent a house, and we lobster. So, the first thing I would like to tell you is that lobster season actually starts August the 6th every year, and it goes through March. But there is a Sportsman's Weekend, which is the 3rd weekend in July. And what that is anyone that wants to go down for a Saturday or Sunday, and you can catch lobsters, but just for those 2 days. It's kind of like something to get you excited. And then the actual date is on August the 6th. Now, when you go on August the 6th, everyone is excited. You get up at 4:30 in the morning because the first one to get to your favorite hole gets the most lobsters. Now, we have all of our holes on a GPS, and there's another and so anyway, so we've got our favorite hole, and it looks like a donut. And what I'm talking about with holes, there's coral, there's ledges, and lobsters are like cockroaches, and they actually swim backwards. So they flap their fin this way, and they go backwards into the hole. So when you come and you start diving on a hole, and we dive in like 6 to 15 foot of water, and we typically don't use tanks, we just free dive, you'll look, and there could be literally 50, 60, 70 lobsters underneath the hole, and they're all like this, and their spines, so they're sticking up like this. So sometimes when you have this many lobster, it's a group effort, because if you touch a couple of them and they're that jam-packed into a hole, they will scatter. So what you have to do is you get a group, and we start helping each other. So you've got all of us, typically there's like 5 or 6 of us, and you've got the men that are definitely lobsters. I'm definitely lobsters. I was raised with 4 boys, and I'm a guy in a girl's body. And then you've got a couple of my daughters that are kind of wimpy, and so they will carry the bag. Okay, so the bag is when you have so many, you don't want to keep putting them back in the boat. So you just have someone that's on top of the hole, and you catch a lobster, and you stick it in the bag. So what you do is you have a net, which is, it's about this big around and about this long, and you have a tickle rod. Now my husband makes the tickle rods because he's a sheet metal guy, and so he makes tickle rods, which is a long rod with a little bit of a hook on the end. So you go down to the ledge, and you have your tickle rod, and you have your net and the tickle rod, and you tickle it out. So you put it behind, you kick it in the butt, and you pull it out, because remember, it swims backwards, so you have to pull it out. And the moment you pull it out, then you put the net behind its butt, and you knock him between its horns, and he flies in the net, and then you trap him in the net, and you come up. So that is basically how you catch a lobster. It is fun, it's exciting, so exciting. Oh, I still have time. Okay, so I'm going to share one story, things that can happen in the water when you're lobstering. So one of the most exciting things, now typically you see nurse sharks, then you see other kind of sharks, but typically there'll be a nurse shark, sometimes an eel in there, in the holes. Once there was this nurse shark, and typically they don't bother you, just kind of lobster around them. But this one time, this shark, we had a bag. Now, Caitlin was holding the bag, and there was probably, I would say probably 10 to 15 lobster in this bag at this time. This nurse shark came out of the hole, actually grabbed the bag from Caitlin, and typically they are not aggressive at all. And this shark had a feeding frenzy, and we were all on top of the water actually watching this. And so my husband was mad though because he borrowed the bag that the shark was actually ripping apart. So anyway, so the shark is kind of swimming away with the bag. My husband is chasing the shark with the tickle rod, banging it on the head. He finally did drop the net, and we got most of our lobsters back. But when we picked up the net, there actually was only a little tiny hole in the net. The lobster literally, I mean the shark literally sucked the meat and the lobster out. It was really pretty amazing. So there's lots of exciting things that can happen with your lobster, when you lobster. I highly recommend it. It is exciting and fun. And so anyway, go lobster.